it's your favourite Atomic Blonde here with Sunday Lunch. So, as you can hear, I'm absolutely full of cold. I woke up with it this morning. I knew it was coming last couple of days, really scratchy throat, bit snuffly yesterday, and woke up feeling like death this morning. So, hence not the live show. Apologies, but yeah, in between sort of coughing and having to blow my nose, not the most attractive thing for my first live show. So fingers crossed for next week. There's no disasters or illness pending. I'll try and do it live next week. So apologies, everyone. But for now, let's just crack on with what's going on in the world of pop culture. So quite an interesting, if not disastrous week for Marvel. And, reap what you sow, guys, reap what you sow. You gave us the MCU Phase 4, a load of films full of just nonsense, not interconnected in any way. It wouldn't matter if you saw the first and the last. It has no, Black Widow had no bearing on Wakanda Forever. No connection, no story. And then they had let's weave in the TV shows as well. So you have to watch this to know what's going on there. And that's like spectacularly backfired with and we're seeing that with Ant-Man. I've not actually been to see it. I've got no intention of going to see it. Look, it's going to be on Disney Plus in a month, right? 4 weeks or whatever. And I'm not going to waste 15, 16 pounds to go see something that hasn't got a decent review from anybody that I trust. And one of the themes coming out is that it's actually it's a sequel to Loki, not Ant-Man. And Loki was probably the most popular out of the Disney Plus shows, but that's not saying much. And you've got people sitting in the theatre looking at the post-credit scene going, oh, hang on, I thought Loki was dead. What's going on? Yeah, I think in terms of the numbers, I mean, obviously they're good numbers, but they're nowhere close to what you'd expect from a Marvel weekend or post pre season. Sorry, pre Phase 4. Sorry, my brain is just not working, guys. We're sort of seeing a predicted sort of 117 million. I think as of when I saw numbers yesterday, it was on around 97 million, something like that. And that's not bad money, but when we factor in that we've seen what the drop's likely to be like in the second week, and from Multiverse of Madness, from gosh, I can't remember what the last film was to come out. That's how little I care these days. Thor, Love and Thunder, all of those. We see a 68-70% drop off in the second week. This had a pretty big budget for the Ant-Man films. They've kind of gone from 150, 170 up to 250. We then know, like every Marvel film, they're going to have done a huge amount of reshoots. We know the film was pretty much all filmed in the volume, which again is very apparent. Apparently, you can just see it's like volume and green screen. And there's apparently quite a lot of socialist undertones. So I don't know, but it's really not doing what they wanted it to do. And this is supposed to be the big launch for Phase 5, and this is the most important film since Endgame. Where have we heard that before? If you don't see this, you're not going to know what's going to happen in Phase 5. But the next film we're going to get is Guardians. we know that's very much a standalone film. That's kind of, James Gunn just rounding out his trilogy. He very much wrote what he wanted to write. He's probably the only director in the Marvel world now that can push back on the studio notes and go, nah, I'm all right, thanks. And that's probably going to be a hit. I can see people actually turning up. I certainly want to go see the Guardians film. Love the trailers that have dropped so far. Looks exciting. Looks like we're going to lose someone. But I do generally want to go see that, and fingers crossed. There's Gunn has just been left alone to make his swan song. He's ta-da, Marvel, and he's going to want to go out with a bang. He wants to have a massive hit, so he can reassure Warner. Look, see, I know what I'm doing. Chill. So yeah, I mean, really, they should have gone with Guardians. Why on earth they went with Ant-Man? It's probably the least performing good. I say good, very commas. Phase 2, phase 3 stuff. But a lot of people aren't massive Ant-Man films, and Paul Rudd's great as the comic relief, as a la Endgame. But can he carry a whole film? And let's face it, we know he's backseat in his own film. It's going to be all the women push front, his daughter, Wasp, and Michelle Pfeiffer's character. So what's the point? So yeah, I guess Feige should be sweating right now. And if he's not being called into the office to go, what the Mr. Feige? I think he is the only thing that might save him is a good performance from Guardians, but I don't think he's long for the Marvel world, I have to say. And that's also reflected in the other things I wanted to talk about. Marvel is the very well, with the results coming from Disney this week on the losses on the platform and streaming. It's not a massive surprise then that we saw this announcement. And did we hear, oh no, I was gutted, I'm so looking forward to that. Everyone's like, thank for that. Who gives a crap about Ironheart and Echo? Seriously, I didn't even watch Hawkeye. I think I got halfway through episode 1 of Hawkeye and I was so bored that I was just like, I can't do this. I don't care who Kate Bishop is. We just know she's going to replace Hawkeye. And again, he's going to take a back seat in his own show. What's the point? So I don't even know Echo. I don't know the actress, and I don't care. No offense to the actress. I'm sure she's a lovely person. Or they are a lovely person. I don't know. Yeah, so these are characters that are from new Marvel comics that failed. Their runs got cancelled. The whole Ironheart Riri is supposed to be the Tony Stark replacement, and with modern morals, her great superhero values are she stole Tony Stark's suit, and she has to be cleverer than him because she has an argument with her teacher at school, and she's like, the teacher is doing what a teacher does, and you can be anything you want to be, if you work hard, if you do this, you can do that. And she just basically sits there and goes, no, I can't because I'm black. And the teacher's like, that's no, Scott, no, you can do this, So she said, okay, you're never better than Tony Stark, so she can have something to kick and fight about. That's basically Ironheart's story arc. I mean, who cares, right? None of this stuff bombed. And then Echo, I think she's like deaf and disabled in some way. Again, didn't watch Hawkeye, don't care. So, but this was kind of inevitable. We've had the mantra for years now. Go woke, go broke. It's playing out in real time in front of us with Disney, and all these virtue signaling projects. They've been delayed, but to at least 2024, which is Hollywood speak for it's been canned. Now, if things pick up, they could resurrect them. Let's hope not. And really the trifecta of sort of bad news for Marvel, that they very sneakily dropped a new poster for the Marvels. Which, gosh, we can't wait for that one, can we, people? And on that poster, we had a change of date again for the Marvels. So it was due to be coming out in the summer blockbuster. We all know Captain Marvel done really well because it was sandwiched between Infinity War and Endgame. And I was guilty of it. I was the mug that went, oh, we need to go see this before Endgame comes out. We need to know what's going on. We have to see the end credits. Yeah. An absolute idiot. Yeah. And you're just like, so yeah, so this new poster dropped. Yeah, with a November 10th, I believe it is. This is the poster here. Yeah, see you November 10th. Like, please, what the hell? So yeah, they know this is going to bomb harder than anything that has bombed before. It's the Hiroshima of Marvel films. I think that's and again, they're relying on people having watched the shows to know who these people are. You have to have watched WandaVision to know Monica Rambeau, and you need to have watched Miss Marvel to know Miss Marvel, and we know that was a resounding success. So yeah, it's not working. But rather than that, the films being connected and making sense, they're trying to connect them to the Disney Plus shows that nobody's watching and nobody has any time for. And yeah, they're still trying to put a positive spin on this film, but it is gonna tank. The only reason it might do well is people just going to watch it to see how bad it actually is. But the normies are out, man. And the people that know the source material love the MCU as it was, and the comics. This isn't their MCU. This is all the failed stuff that people stopped buying. So good work, Disney, as always. Well done. Finger on the pulse of what people want. So yeah, all in all, really bad week for Marvel. But they've got to change tack. Well, they haven't got to change tack, but they need to, as we've been saying for ages, quality over quantity. Stop just churning content that nobody bloody wants to see, nobody wants, nobody needs, and make us some good shows. Give us 2-3 good Marvel shows a year. That's, or better still, stop making them. If you can't leave the politics at the door and just give us fun comic stories and characterization, just don't bother. On the plus side, I think we're getting to that point where Disney Marvel, Disney Star Wars, Disney in general are just hemorrhaging cash, and if they don't change, which they're unlikely to because they're too arrogant to, they're going to have to start selling these IPs off. And then you can only hope that they go to someone who loves that IP, who respects the source material. That if they say they're going to, bring it up to date for the modern audience, we don't all dread it. They just mean that, this was originally set in the 60s and now it's set in present day. But hey, the characters you love are the same and this is the same. You can recognize the people on screen. And of course, the other gem this week from Marvel was they are casting the Fantastic Four finally. And obviously this is very problematic for them because it's a white family, American apple pie. And can you have an all-white cast these days? Probably not. So they are planning on casting Sue Storm first, shocker. And then the rest of the cast will be built around her. So as soon as you hear those words, you go, you're really not getting this, are you? You don't understand why people are not coming to your films. that you, out of an ensemble cast, that Reed Richards, leads the team. All the emphasis is on Sue Storm. Personally, I think it's probably going to be a Latina actress that gets to be Sue Storm, I think. So that way they can still have someone sort of relatively light-skinned, but can lean into diversity and inclusion. I think that's what's going to happen. And then throw a 6 to start for the other characters, right? I think it's highly likely. They'll probably do something daft, like Johnny Storm is black, but he's Sue Storm's adoptive brother or something. I don't know. Or they just won't be related. Who needs canon? But we'll see. We'll see. I ain't holding my breath on this one. And they have delayed, and they have delayed, and they have delayed making these casting choices because they've pushed themselves into a woke corner. Yeah, let's see. I'm like, please prove me wrong. And at the end of the day, this isn't about. You don't want representation. You don't not want people, people of color, black people, Latina people in leads. Fill your boots. If they're good actors and actresses, do it. But create a new version of Fantastic Four. Obviously, don't call them that, but create a new family, create new material, give them the chance to shine and lead and have their own role models, right? Have something really cool that, because like when Blade came out, it blew out Tiny Mike. I mean, Wesley Snipes was so cool as Blade. We'd never seen a vampire like him. And it was an originally written black character, and it works, right? And it's like that done super well. We didn't go, well, I'm not going to go see it for black man's in it. I mean, come on, where's Wesley Snipes? And but again, as soon as they said, oh, we're going to remake Blade, we all went, oh, they're going to screw it up. And what we've seen, directors come and go, we've seen writers come and go. The poor guy that's been cast as Blade, who I actually think is a really good actor, and I think he'll be great in it. How long has he been waiting around to make this film now? 3 years? 4 years? And we need to make it a PG-13. No, wrong. It's an R or 15. Make it properly. But how long before that gets canned? Or, Anywho, but yeah, it's all kind of downhill for Marvel, has been for a long time. And as much as they're sort of delaying these shows, when they make an announcement, it's all around Sue Storm, they're just not, they're hearing, but they're not listening. So let's wait and see what comes of that announcement and who gets cast. Hope it's someone good. I have to wait and see. Shows this week. Obviously there was we got The Last of Us early, so we done the reviews last week, so go back and check those out for episodes 4 and 5. Obviously we should get 6 tomorrow here in the UK. So pick that up next week. Wolfpack. What is going on with this show? Oh my days. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's not terrible. But it just doesn't go anywhere. I can't remember if this is episode 4 or 5. I think it's 4. And we got all the same questions we had at episode 1. Who is the alpha? Who's the weird guy on the phone? Is Connor dead? Isn't Connor dead? Is the alpha protecting the kids or going after the kids? Literally nothing has moved forward. I mean, we're sort of seeing more about their powers and how they're evolving as a pack, and how this is happening, and that's great. And really all that happened this week was that Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is still interviewing the kids and different kids, and all the kids are saying, we saw a wolf. She's like, I don't think you did. And there's all these pictures on a wall of kind of like werewolves driven, right? And the kids are like, oh no, it's definitely a wolf. And she's like, no, I think it's probably a ram. You've probably just got post-traumatic stress or something, and dismissing what they say. And then this ram sort of stumbles into a car park and kills over dead with great big gashes down its side. And then, but then she's like going, oh, it's probably a ram that they saw, but obviously something killed the ram. So is she just being deliberately stupid? Or is she supposed to be like, all adults are stupid and they don't believe what the kids are saying because everybody's saying the same thing and there's all these bloody drawings of them. And she does know that's what it is, but I don't know. But it's just really not going anywhere. But like I say, but at the same time, I'm still watching it, and I'm like, why am I still watching it? Because I want the answers to these bloody questions. But 4 episodes in, we're literally on the same point as we were on episode 1. They've been bitten. They're turning into werewolves, and we don't know anything about why. Yes, we know there was a fire and the werewolf got driven out from the woods, but why we just randomly go around biting people? Does he need to create a new pack? But we don't know. And is it good? Is it bad? We don't know. Is the alpha the father of the kids that bit the other kids? We don't know. Does Michelle Pfeiffer actually know what's going on? We don't know. It's like the show is just, I don't know. But I think I'm going to stick it out. I'd be very surprised if this gets to season 2 at this rate. I can see people just giving up, going, yeah, if you're a young adult watching this and you've got some very fit, hot guys sort of walking around without their tops on and all abs and red, I get it. I get why you'd watch that. But it's not setting the world on fire. It's no Buffy. I'm sorry. And I bet she hates that it's constantly getting compared to that, but it really ain't. Anywho, so I guess obviously the big news and what everybody's talking about this week is, of course, Picard. Now, I've done a separate review on this where I sort of, after watching it, kind of more of a reaction review. Again, so you can go check that out on my channel for lots of what I really thought in detail of Picard. I think just to recap here, that I thought it was good. It's not perfect. Of course it's not. But it's so much better than what we've had up to this point. I slogged through season 1 of Picard. Excuse me. And it was bad and boring. And they made Picard an android robot, synthetic, whatever you want to call it. Season 2, I got in 2 episodes, but they travelled back in time to 2024 or 2023? I think it was 2024 because they'd made an assumption that Trump had got in again or something. I don't know. And it was all about immigration. I'm out. Immigration, yeah, not for me. On the positive side, you don't need to have to watch or go anywhere near seasons 1 and 2 to start watching season 3. There's really no immediate references to those seasons that you kind of go. The only thing is you won't know who Raffi is, and that's probably a good thing. And obviously, if you're an old Star Trek fan, you know who 7 and 9 is from Voyager. You won't know why she's in it now, but that's cool. Doesn't really matter because they absolutely destroyed her character in season 1 and 2 of Picard, and for some reason she's now bi or lesbian. Don't know why, because obviously she's with Chakotay in Voyager. That's really all you need to know. Yeah, so Picard is actually acting like Picard, someone who used to be a military officer, someone who was well respected, not this doddering idiot just going around apologizing to everybody. Sorry for being me. Sorry for being white. Sorry for this. Whatever. He actually behaves like someone who had a spine once and knew what he was doing. And they bring back Riker straight off the bat, and Jonathan Frakes is brilliant in it. He's just tell, he's like put on an old suit and he's Riker straight off the bat, and you can actually recognize him as Riker, not the living photocopy nonsense version we got in season 1. He's still a captain. They get a coded message from Beverly, who they haven't seen in over 20 years. She just upped and left and cut ties with all the crew, and we don't know why yet. So it's like a rescue mission to go get Beverly. So they have to come up with an excuse to get on the Titan A, and this is all around like it's going to be Frontier Day. So Picard and Riker are meant to be there anyway at Starfleet because they're giving speeches and stuff, on the well-decorated offices and all that kind of stuff. They'll do an inspection of the Titan A, which is Riker's first command as captain of the Titan. This is Titan A, so this is now a Neo constellation. Hence, they've brought the saucer shape back because that started to go from Voyager onwards. I think it's very elongated. So they find a way to get on the ship. The captain of that ship, I think he's got potential to be a great character. He's an absolute arse in this to Picard and Riker. Got no respect for them whatsoever. Doesn't care where they want to go because they want to obviously change course to go to Beverly's coordinates. He's like, nah, you're retired. You ain't an acting captain. I've got my orders. Jog on. So anyway, Seven ends up overhearing Riker and Picard talking. She sort of pulls them up and says, like, what the hell's going on? Like, you need to tell me or you're out the airlock. And Riker's just like, oi, don't speak to an admiral like that. What the hell? And she's like, I'm not speaking to an admiral like that. I'm talking to my friend. And that's a real big distinction between this and the crappy Kurtzman Trek. There's chain of command. People act like they're in the military. People actually like, admiral on the bridge, and they all, stand to attention, and they go to at ease until Picard says at ease. It actually looks like people are competent and know what they're doing, rather than running around crying and talking about their feelings every 5 minutes. And it's all focused on one character. It's an absolute departure from what we've seen in Discovery and the previous Picards. Obviously, it's Secret Hideout. Even though this is Terry Matalis, he's been given free rein to do what he wanted because Star Trek had bombed so badly. The people that crashed it sodded off to do other projects. Thank God, Kurtzman and Goldman, Goldsmith, I don't know, I don't even care. They've sodded off to let someone with some talent actually write. And so far so good, but it does mean that inside the ships and the whole look is still very dark. It's like, how they don't trip over stuff, I don't know. It's like they're always permanently in the dark and everything's shiny. We haven't got that lovely Next Generation sort of carpet and beige and bright and optimistic. We've still got that very aesthetic. But if we've got a good story that makes sense, that's kind of set with some scientific logic behind it, and the characters are the characters that we expect to see, I can be very forgiving that they're in the dark, basically. But so far so good. First episode, so Riker absolutely steals the show. And there are some jokes in there about their age and things like that they're not youngsters running around anymore. Which is, and their relationship, their dynamic makes sense. There's two people who have been friends for 30, 40 years. There's that level of respect there, as him, obviously used to be his captain, now he's his admiral. But the friendship as well, they've been through stuff together. And there's that kind of warmth there and respect. And it makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Their relationship makes sense. Obviously, Riker calls him Jean-Luc now because they're retired. But Riker's still got that real sort of glint in his eye for that kind of, because I think Picard makes a comment like, "You enjoying this?" And he's like, "No, absolutely not," because he's loving it, So I'm optimistic for the rest of the season. Obviously, there are a few reviews out there on YouTube that people have seen the whole season say it absolutely sticks the landing. And some of them have seen about episode 6 and saying still so far so good. Some twists and turns you're not going to see coming, but it's hanging together. The story still makes sense. It hasn't done a Kurtzman off a cliff and you're just sitting there going, what the was that about? Or hang on, those 3 stories you started in episode 1, what's happened to the other 2 stories? Or what's happened? It just disappears and they just forget about it, forget their own canon and all this kind of nonsense. You really feel the love in this show from Terry Matalas. So I am for the first time optimistic. We are going to get some good new Trek. Like I say, it's not perfect, and the music, they've got a new guy doing the music, and it's in it brings back the old sort of Next Generation theme, but then it's weaved in with new music and the card theme. Absolutely amazing. And you have to watch the end credits. There's all clips of the sort of ship's computers and images, and apparently there are clues and Easter eggs and things in there, so you need to watch all the way through to the end credits, and that will help give us clues as to what is going on. Amanda Plummer is going to be, well, we think, the big bad from the trailers, who's obviously Christopher Plummer's daughter. Great nod back to Undiscovered Country. And she's a very good actress as well. You know, she got the acting genes from her father. Why the big bad? But hopefully, you know, and why did Beverly cut ties with everybody? Like, you know, they were one big family, and she's also said, trust no one and don't trust Starfleet. Now, I'm a little bit, because all new Trek, Starfleet just keeps getting portrayed as a bunch of like fascists. And Starfleet's bad. I really hope that isn't where this goes. And hopefully Starfleet is good, but, you know, maybe a few spies rotten eggs or something. And that does come good. But again, if it's a good story, it makes sense, I could probably forgive it. But I just really hope Starfleet is made to be what Starfleet, Roddenberry's vision of this great institution that's about driving mankind forward, about new discoveries and being the best that we can be. You know, you're the best of the best in Starfleet, which is like why new Trek and that hate it, because mediocrity's, you know, everybody's goal these days, right? So yeah, I hope the show is good. I hope the old values of the show come back as to why we all fell in love with it in the first place. So fingers crossed. So do go check out my full review, where I touch on some of the things I just said, but obviously go in a bit more detail, especially of the story and what's the setup and what's going on. So I'm really excited for Friday to see the next episode, which is something I have not said in a very long time, probably since House of the Dragon. It's the last time I was actually looking forward to the next episode or something. So yeah, fingers crossed on that one. Cool. So yeah, a bit short. Actually, probably about the same time as last week. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to watch Tulsa King this week. It's been a bit full on, hence why I've probably got this cold. But I will endeavour to catch up with Tulsa King and give you an update next week on the next couple of episodes. I might just even go sit on the sofa, feel sorry for myself, and stick it on now, and nurse my cold. Go make a lemon sip. Other drugs are available. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this week's Sunday lunch. And hopefully next week it could be a live one. Let's fingers crossed on that one. There's no immediate disasters, and can chat and interact with you guys, which I can't wait for. So as always, do like, share and subscribe. Do leave me some comments. What did you think of Picard season 3? Do you think I'm being naively optimistic, or are you getting that good vibe too? And what do you think of Marvel crashing and burning? Personally, like I said, you reap what you sow. You tell half of your audience that we hate you and your bigots. This is what you get. Where can Marvel go? What's your thoughts? Anyway, I will catch up with you next Sunday for a bit more Sunday lunch. Who knows? I might even have a Sunday lunch. Wait and see. Have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.